Hello, thank you for taking a moment to watch this video, and on this particular training we're going to continue working through our Zapier PhoneBurner integration and more specifically how we can update records in our CRM or external system based off of the call activity that we're doing in PhoneBurner. And we've already talked about how we can take all of the calls that we make in PhoneBurner and log those as individual activities, in this particular case in our Google Sheet. You know, this being our CRM, our pseudo CRM, right? But what if there's details related to that contact that you want to update? Let's jump over to our Leads tab in our Google Sheet. And you'll see here we've got our record. This was all created when the record was first generated and pushed over to PhoneBurner. And there are a couple fields in here: last call date, last called by, last call status, and total calls. These are fields. Think of these like fields in our CRM. These are fields that I might want to have updated every time a call happens through PhoneBurner. Now, obviously, I can go and look at activities, but what if I want fields that are directly related to, directly part of that record to be updated? Not a problem. Super easy to do. We're going to jump back over to Zapier, and we're going to go ahead and pick up where we left off in our last Zap that we're working on. Once again, this is our all PhoneBurner call Zap. This is where we created the webhook. We logged the call activities in our Google Sheet. We're just going to add another step here. So let's get rid of that. Click here. No, I want to set up another step. And it's going to be Google Sheet again. We're updating the Google Sheet. And for action event, we're going to update spreadsheet row. Not going to create one, we're just going to update one. This would be like if it was a CRM, we'd be updating contact record, updating lead record, updating whatever type of record it was that we're trying to update. Then we're going to go ahead and continue. We're going to choose our Google Sheet or our account, and then we're going to choose our Google Sheet. And in this particular case, the worksheet is our leads worksheet. I want to make sure that we grab that worksheet. Now, in order to create the update, we have to find the row that this record exists on, right? So we've got, in this case, 2 rows with contacts. If you're linked to a CRM, hopefully your lead ID is the record, and you'd be able to just map the row to the lead ID. But in our particular case, we didn't do that, so we're going to have to do custom, and we're going to add a search step. So we first got to find the row that we want to update, and then we can update it. So let's go ahead and choose app event, look up spreadsheet row, which is what we want, continue. All right, so we've got the spreadsheet, the worksheet, all the stuff that we want, and now we need to choose which column we want to do the lookup on. In this particular case, I'm going to do the lead ID. I'm going to find my record that has that unique lead ID. And the value that we're using is, dun dun dun, our lead ID that we've logged in PhoneBurner and received back from PhoneBurner when the call was made. And we're going to go ahead and hit continue. And let's go ahead and test and review. And here you can see it found it on row 2. So let's just double check. Row 2, lead ID 21927, 21927. Yep, there it is. So we're going to go ahead and continue, because we don't have to retest and continue, but that was our only option. So now that we've done that, we're going to come down here to our row, and let's go ahead and delete whatever's there. Let's go to custom, and let's go to our lookup spreadsheet row, and we're going to grab ID number 2, because that's the ID of the row that we just captured. So we've got leads, and we're going to look up, and we're grabbing row 2 because that's what we found in this step here. Now, what do we want to update? We don't need to update first name, last name, email address. However, There may be times that you want to update those. If there was a change in PhoneBurner, you might want to update it in your CRM. In this particular case, I'm not going to update any of that information. Whatever's in the Google Sheet is in the Google Sheet. We're going to leave that alone. And all I'm going to do is log the last call date, last called by, agent first name and agent last name. Last call status, what was the outcome of the last call? And total calls. We're using the information that we received in our trigger step to look up the record in the Google Sheet and then update that record accordingly. So now let's go down and hit continue. And we're going to hit test and review. Bring this over. And you can see once again, it updated it faster than I could bring it over. Last call date, last called by, last call status, total calls. And that's it. That's how easy it is for you to update the record in your system, your CRM, in this case, the Google Sheet, with specific information from the call that was just placed. So thanks for taking a moment to watch this video, and happy dialing.